Hey guys, if you elect me as your PM, sorry, not the best start. It's your boy MKS here again. Sorry for my quick humor. I'm not sure whether to keep this as a serious video because it's about politics or to try and have jokes, but I thought I'd do a bit of both. Once again, I've changed the scenery from my last video, I think. Well, yeah, from my last video that I made. The one about those 4 regions I wish to help. Anyway, sorry, I'm out of breath again because I've just walked up and downstairs. But anyway, please forgive me for that. I wasn't quite sure what to say in the intro, but anyway, hope you liked part 1. If you haven't checked part 1 of this video out, please check it out, and I hope you'll look out for part 3 as well. So I hope I do the best possible job. I know it's a bit late; it's like midnight here in the UK. So anyway, I'll do my best. So onto the list. I think that'll be enough for the intro. Sorry if it's not quite as coherent as I want to be. As I say, I'll try and do videos like this at least once a week, maybe every Thursday, possibly every day if I can. So hopefully especially in the daytime, hopefully when I'm a little bit tired, but not too tired anyway, but hopefully I'll have more energy and do a better job in future videos, but I'll do my best anyway. So hopefully someone out there will like this video about my political opinions and what I stand for and things like that. Anywho, so getting onto this, because I think this intro has been quite long. I don't want the video to be too long, but if you haven't checked out part 1, please check it out because this will make more sense, as I often say. Point number 11, or idea number 11, policy idea number 11. This is probably not going to be popular. This is probably not going to be popular like a lot of my ideas, especially for socialists or communists, because I talk a lot about being a libertarian, wanting to give people as much choice as possible. And to be honest, how I think enforced tax is robbery, or when you force people to give money. But I'm not a big fan like socialism or communism says it wants to help poor people, which hopefully it does. But the way that socialists or communists or whatever want to help poor people is to sort of force the rich, if you like millionaires, billionaires, people like that, to pay more, give them more money. So my dilemma is that I think tax is enforced tax is like kind of robbery. So I always try and look for alternative ways, like if there's lotteries or things like that where people choose to give their money. And like a lot of my YouTube videos are about trying to raise funds if I can in the long term, or ASAP really. But I imagine it would take quite a while. But anyway, to raise funds for charity so that it won't have to be forced by the taxpayer. But anyway, so point number 11 is an policy idea about violation of freedom. So people who feel that their freedom has been violated, I'd like say, for instance, in countries where, or by governments that have nationalized industries, or imposed tax on them, or tried to impose controls like, dare I say, landlords or gas and electricity companies, where the government says it wants to impose rent restrictions or price controls, basically, on gas and electricity companies. And I know that's quite popular policy for people who pay quite a lot for gas and electricity. I kind of get. So I'm probably in the minority opinion here, but I think like if I could raise money for my videos, I'd like reparate people who I feel have been deliberated in some way, including countries that were colonized, people like Native Americans, as I talked about before in my last video. So people who have been deliberated in some way, I'd love to reparate those. And I think that covers point 11. Hope that makes sense. As I say, anyone who can, so maybe have an independent group where people can put forward, if they feel they've been deliberated in some way, they can be reparated or recompensated or compensated or whatever for that. I don't know if recompensate is a word, probably one I've just made up myself. But anyway, 12, I hope to like network with people who, and listen to, as I've talked about, listening to different people's ideas and all that, even people who I might not agree with. As long as they're prepared to discuss ideas, hopefully I'll be prepared to discuss ideas with people from a diverse range of opinions, as long as they don't shout their opinions or disparage other people's opinions like my own. But I also hope to work with disadvantaged groups like disabled people, and work on human rights and discuss what rights people should have and what freedoms people should have, and also animal rights, rights and protection of children, things like that, including possibly like how there could be technology for parents to track where the children are and things like that, maybe funding and fundraising to give that technological access for parents to monitor their children, make sure they're safe and things like that. But again, I don't want most of my ideas, policy ideas, are about, in terms of politics, as I say, are libertarian policies. So they're not about the government. It's about having smaller government and less regulation, less controls, less taxes and things like that. So I know, as I say, not everyone's going to agree, but I'm just putting forward my own ideas, as difficult as they are to come up with. And being unemployed myself is like kind of a dilemma, but that's why as I've talked about before, what I'm trying to make on YouTube is to motivate myself, and then maybe if I can motivate other people, like if I can do well on YouTube, I can motivate other people with disabilities. Like one of the things I love is people support disabled YouTubers. Then I know I've talked about these policies before, so please forgive me if I forget or repeat things. But yeah, so YouTube could be a way for disabled people to earn living, so that there'll be less requirement on benefits, and again, independent bodies, which I think I forgot to mention in point 11, or even in point 3, I could have mentioned this, but independent bodies could be used to look at how the government can best use taxpayers' money so that they don't squander more money, and that money's not wasted. Before we raise taxes, we actually look at cutting waste in government and things like that. As I say, I hope my voice is clear enough, as I often say. I often, point 13, I often do policy number 13, I often do these lists, and I like to come up with a list of 30 ideas. For some reason, I don't know why, but when I make a cup of tea, I often try and think of these 30 ideas if I can. I'm not sure what to put in, what to include for policy 13, but or point number 13. And sometimes I forget why that I was trying to talk about policy ideas, so I probably go a bit off topic. But anyway, so yeah, I'm possibly thinking about some of the problems I might face with organising my ideas, or how I can actually set up a party, or think about some of the policies I disagree with and things like that, or things I think are wrong. Well, I think are bad in the world, like when people try and control people. And I think, like say, socialism tries to, or communism tries to say, says that they're going to do lots of good things for people from poorer backgrounds. But really, but they're not doing it with their own money. They're doing it with other people's money. That's what I think. Anyway, moving on. 14. I hope to look at problems facing the world and how to solve them, like global warming, climate change, whatever. Fundraising for water aid or food or shelter, to try and. I mean, there was something I was talking about before about the military and the weapons trade and militarism, wars and all that. And there was a chart which said that the world collectively, each country between them, spent like over $1 trillion. I think it was. I'm not sure how accurate this was. This was a few years ago as well. Some people disputed this, but apparently the countries of the world have spent over $1 trillion on weapons, and they said for about 10% of that we could feed everyone. So that's why one of the reasons why I talked before about my idea to tax the weapons trade and wars and things like that, and use that money to feed more people, and so we don't have to tax people more, but we can give everyone homes, well, as many people as possible at least, and ensure everyone has enough to eat, drink, and at least survive, and that kind of thing, for what it's worth. 15, I hope to, as I said before, to network with other people and share dreams and share goals and ideas and things like that, and think of my top priorities somehow, because I have so many ideas, it's difficult to prioritize. 16, I hope to organise myself to come up with policy ideas and possibly my own manifesto. Maybe read some manifestos or find out about what a manifesto looks like and see if I can make my own about my own personal opinions. 17, I was thinking like imagine if I could convince Italians to love football so much and make their football team so proud, and they would vote for whatever politician would invest the most into Italian football. 18, as I've talked about before, about positive politics. Like, instead of saying what's negative about other political parties, talk about what positive things you do and why you think it would make the world a better place. So I hope to encourage parties to do more of that sort of stuff. 19, I say I hope to take on the challenge of supporting poor people, but not doing so through raising taxes, which is obviously going to be a challenge, but I hope to take that challenge on. And 20, I hope to keep improving and actually really keep thinking about my policy ideas and how I would change what I could do to organise myself better, and think about coherent policies, and think about maybe I need to look more into the cost of things as well and all that sort of stuff. So anyway, I'd love to network with other people and find out what they sort of think. So if you made it this far, I really appreciate it. I hope I did a good job. I'll try, as I say, I always try and improve. So please bear with me if it wasn't as good as I like it to be, as I often say. And I'll do my best to make to keep improving as I go along. So as ever, I'd love to have your opinions on these videos. I'm sorry if I repeat any ideas, or I was a bit tired, or I sort of my memory wasn't so great, or my organisation or that. But as I say, I'd love to hear your opinions and any ideas for improvement. Or again, I'd love to ask you questions like if you could post them in the comments like what would you do if you're Prime Minister, or what would you change about the world, or what would you change about politics, or what do you dislike about politics? Like, a lot of people say, why do politicians always shout at each other, or say negative things about each other, rather than say what they're going to do to make things better. Anyway, peace and love. Please look out for part 3. Thanks.